When a lot of people think of UNESCO, they think of the cultural side, the ancient side, but really it's much more than that.
UNESCO has a very large mandate. It covers education, culture, sciences, information and communication. So indeed, it's one of the flagship, let's say, initiatives of UNESCO is the World Heritage Sites, and we are very proud of. It's not only about the buildings, but it's also bringing countries and people around universal promotion of heritage. But what's very important for us is the main role that we have within the UN system, and that is to what we like to say bring the peace in the mind of men and women through education, culture, and sciences.
How can G20 nations incorporate intercultural dialogues into their education systems to foster inclusion and more social cohesion?
The world is changing, and we have a new generation that has access to social media, has access to new technologies, and that's the role of UNESCO, is to accompany our societies and the countries in adapting to new realities and a new way of doing things. As you mentioned, intercultural dialogue is one of those concepts that is very dear to UNESCO, very important in terms of social cohesion internally within the same country, but also in terms of collaboration among nations. So one way for us to promote intercultural dialogue is by introducing some of these concepts in the curricula, is by also training teachers on how to teach intercultural dialogue.
You also are focusing on the youth and the role that they will play in all of this as well. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Youth are in many countries, especially in Africa and in some other developing countries, the large majority of the population. So we have to cater to the needs of young people in terms of education, but also in terms of access to decent work, in terms of access to health, and so on and so forth. So it has been a focus for the UN system in general and for UNESCO for quite some time. Youth are agents of change. We work with them in countries where we feel the need that we need to involve them in peace building. We work with youth in countries where we feel that they also have a role in terms of intercultural dialogue.
And when you look across the world right now and see a lot of geopolitical tension, how important is cultural diplomacy to maybe build some bridges and fill those gaps?
Cultural diplomacy is key to building peace and consolidating peace and promoting development across the world. It teaches you history, teaches you common understanding of humanity. It brings young people and all generations together around common values.
You know that technology is changing at the speed of light. How are you using technology to get those messages out? And then also I want to ask you about AI and the role of artificial intelligence.
I mean, at UNESCO, we believe that new technologies, including artificial intelligence, are very good positive developments in our societies, as long as we use them for the benefits of public good and for the benefits of our societies. Technologies can improve access to education, can improve access to water, to health, and so on and so forth. Our role is to bring in and develop frameworks that help develop these technologies in an ethical manner. So we have a lot of work and work stream on how to use AI in education, or AI in culture, AI with youth, AI in promoting gender equality. So overall, we are very optimistic and positive about the development of new technologies, including AI, but there's a need of a framework, a need of collaboration, so that it is developed in an ethical manner.
Everywhere we look around the world, we're seeing the impacts of more severe weather and storms and climate change. How can cultural heritage be protected amid this fight against climate change?
Indeed, one of the challenges of preservation of cultural heritage is natural disaster, or also caused by climate change and its consequences. There are many ways of trying to either mitigate and protect cultural heritage against such natural disasters. For us, one way we support is to build the capacity of managers of sites and again, sharing experiences and trying to work more on prevention and be much more well prepared against natural disasters.
And really just driving home the message to the decision makers, the leaders, because they're already being asked to pay their share.
Well, our role is indeed always to keep issues like climate change on the agenda of the leaders. And one way we do is we keep providing data and sometimes new data, showcase the real impact, but also provide solutions and how we can mitigate. So our role is always keep some of the global challenges on the agenda of world leaders, presenting the benefits of working on, for instance, in this case, fighting climate change or promoting environmental education, training teachers on environmental challenges, and so on and so forth.
Any role the private sector can play in all of this as well.
The private sector is very key. They have the means to invest on research and innovation and provide also solutions that can also contribute to economic development, but also protect the environment. We don't think at UNESCO that these are two competing goals. To the opposite, we can aim for economic growth and economic development while protecting the environment, or economic growth thanks to protection of heritage, economic growth thanks to ecotourism and sustainable tourism. The private sector has to be also leading in raising awareness about these issues.
Mr. Ahmimed, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.